Hi, I'm Chuck Marunde, exclusive buyer's agent in Sequim, Washington. So we're going to do something a little different today. Over the years, I've had clients and prospects ask me various questions, and I thought I'd share those questions and answers with you in this video. And so I'm going to have my assistant, Noah, who's put together these questions for us over our material that we've gotten from clients, emails and text messages and telephone calls. And so let's get started with that. Noah, are you ready? You got some questions for me?
Okay, Chuck, we have 10 interview questions that I put together so people could get to know you better, but these are questions people have asked you in the past as they interviewed you on the phone. So, are you ready?
I am.
Great. Here's the first question. Let's start with your background. What first inspired you to get into real estate, and how did your previous career as a real estate attorney influence your approach as a buyer's agent today?
That's a good question. So I started out in real estate sales when I was 21 years old in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska. And I loved the real estate business a lot. I had graduated from college and was trying to decide what to do. And I had a couple of opportunities, but they weren't very attractive. I loved real estate, and I loved what was involved. So I discovered that my own broker didn't really know the answers to a lot of questions. And so I decided to go to law school and specialize in real estate. And that way I would have the knowledge and the understanding of the contracts and the contract language, how to avoid ambiguities, negotiating, and I wanted to be able to answer my clients' questions with real answers. And so that's what I did. I got excited about going to law school, and I did go to law school in Spokane, Washington, at Gonzaga University School of Law. I specialized in real estate. And then, long story short, I had a 20-year career as a real estate attorney before I came back to real estate transactions full-time as the founder and broker of my own brokerage. So there you go.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned transitioning back into real estate sales after 20 years in law. What motivated you to focus specifically on working as an exclusive buyer's agent, rather than representing both buyers and sellers like many agents do?
Yeah. Okay, this is really one of my pet peeves, I guess you could call it. The vast majority of real estate agents all over the country are being taught, have been taught for probably 4 decades now at least, that the name of the game is listings, listings, listings. So that's where the money is made, and brokers who are running offices with 20 or 30 or 40 or 200 agents, they want all their agents to go out and get listings because the listings sell even if by other brokers, and they make money. So I saw how listing agents were doing the presentations and how many of them were really in it for the money, and they didn't actually have the extensive real estate knowledge and competency to do a good job for home sellers. And so all they were really doing was getting really good at a listing presentation and learning how to talk somebody into signing a listing agreement. But the knowledge and the experience, the negotiating ability, the due diligence issues, protecting their clients really wasn't something that most listing agents learned or were even interested in. I had an interest from the very beginning in working with buyers to help protect them, to get through all of the hurdles, or I should say get over the hurdles that they would have between the time that they started looking for a home, made an offer, did their due diligence, and handled all the inspections. And there's a lot of traps for the unwary. I've said this many times. So I enjoy helping my clients get through all of that safely and all the way to closing, especially because my clients are retirees from all over the country, and so they're coming here not to get in trouble in a real estate transaction, but to buy their retirement home, and they want to do it without getting into a nightmare scenario, and then they want to also do it in a manner that keeps stress and anxiety low. So I'm very good at that, and that's what I do as a buyer's agent. Very few realtors, focus on the buyer end and protecting buyers like I do. And so it's kind of unique.
Next question. You've been helping buyers for years now in Sequim, Washington. What is it about Sequim that makes it such a special place for your clients? And how has your deep local knowledge helped your buyers make smarter decisions?
Yeah, excellent question. So I've been in Sequim for about 29 years now. I raised my family here, finished my law career here, opened up my brokerage about 15 years ago. And so I have looked at, showed, and sold lots of homes in the area over these 3 decades. And so I know the area really well, including all the issues that come up in different areas. Well issues, high mineral content in some wells in certain areas, septic issues, difficulty reaching water for some private wells in some areas, and so on. So when I represent a buyer, they're with somebody here who has really, I know the market, I know the area. People can ask me literally anything about any area in Sequim or around Sequim, and I either know the answer right away or I can find it out. For 40 years, I was a jogger, so I enjoyed jogging just about every trail, mountain trail. I've jogged so many neighborhoods in the area. There's not many areas I don't know, but again, I'm here to help my buyers really accomplish their goal. So, we talk about exactly what it is they want in a retirement home, what kind of property they want, how close they need to be to downtown or doctor's offices, how remote they might want to be and have some acreage. Do they have horses? Do they need 10, 15, 20 acres? And so that's what I do. I specialize in helping my clients get all those things lined up and safely to closing.
Excellent. You've mentioned the importance of loyalty and representation. Can you explain what makes your role as an exclusive buyer's agent different when it comes to negotiating and protecting a client's interests during a transaction?
Yeah, that's a good one, because listing agents, they are obligated by law to serve their sellers. So they have a well-defined agency duty by law, but they also have a fiduciary duty to their clients. So most listing agents are going to be not only unequipped, but not your first choice in hiring a buyer's agent. So listing agents are focused from the beginning on getting listings and working with home sellers. So their business model is completely different than mine as a buyer's agent. They're focused all day long, all week long, I should say, on getting more listings. So they're doing presentations. Well, how do they get in front of homeowners? Well, they're just doing all kinds of, marketing. They're running ads in various places, especially in the newspaper and online. But they're also mailing letters out, flyers, and they're also running around the neighborhood, or should I say the Sequim area, kissing as many butts as they want, or as politicians might say, kissing as many babies as they can to get homeowners to list with them. They'll go to the Elks Club luncheon to mix with people, and you would think, well, they're just having fun meeting people, and so no, they're trying to get listings, and so that's their total focus all week long. And then when they get the listing, the biggest complaint, by the way, all across the country is that sellers will say, well, my agent had a great listing presentation, but once we got it listed, I've never heard from him. I've had many home sellers tell me I showed their home way more than their own listing agent. Well, it's a different business model. And from the buyer side, see, I'm generating or creating resources online for buyers that helps them do their research, decide whether or not they want to retire in Sequim, and answer a lot of specific questions for buyers that they've had over the last 20 years. And I do that I have a real estate blog with over 2,200 articles on it that are just specifically written by me to address buyer questions. I also have a YouTube channel called Living in Sequim, which has hundreds of videos, all scripted, produced by me, just to help buyers do their research, get the answers to their questions, and find out whether or not Sequim is where they want to retire for the rest of their lives. So I'm creating all these free, and by the way, I've also written a lot of real estate books on this local market. No other realtor has done that, but no other realtors, including all the listing agents here, have created any of these massive free resources online for people. They simply list the property they're going to list, put it in the MLS, and basically that's their idea of marketing. So you can see the business model is totally different between a buyer's agent like me and a listing agent, and I'm the only exclusive buyer's agent in the entire Sequim area that I know of that intensely focuses on helping buyers and does not list properties. So there you go, a little bit of a long-winded answer there, but I hope that's helpful.
Okay, next question. You've represented countless buyers over the years. Can you share a specific story, maybe a recent one, where your unique background helped a buyer avoid a costly mistake or navigate a complex issue in a way that other agents might not have caught?
Yeah. Actually, there have been many, but I'll just mention one. I had a buyer who was interested in a home between Sequim and Port Townsend. So we drafted the offer on it. Finally, after some negotiating, got mutual acceptance. And then I began to help my client go through the due diligence process. So one of those items, of course, was the well. And the listing presentation or the listing detail sheet that the listing agent had provided in the MLS didn't indicate there was any problem with the well at all. Well, it turns out the well was actually on the neighbor's property, and the neighbor and this property owner shared that well. Okay, so I called the listing agent and said, do you have the phone number and the name of that neighbor so I can chat with them? She said, no, I don't have any contact information. I've never talked to them. Well, I thought that was kind of interesting since she's the listing agent and she should know something about the well. But she was indicating that there was no problem with the water, plenty of water for this property, she kept saying. Well, I went down there and knocked on the neighbor's door, not knowing what to expect. He was super nice. And lo and behold, the well that he was sharing with the neighbors only produced 1.5 gallons per minute. I kid you not, 1.5 gallons per minute. That's not enough for one home, let alone two. But then he went on to tell me a long story about bacteria problems with the cistern, the water storage tank, and there were a lot of issues there. Essentially, the property my client was trying to buy really had no water. So we went back and I talked to the listing agent. She just pretended that she was ignorant of all these things. although the homeowner had told me that, in fact, she had talked to him. So she was lying to me. And then we find out that this property actually, they had tried to drill a well on this way back in the beginning, but they couldn't reach water. And I forget how deep it was. It was like over 300 feet, and they still hadn't reached water. So, of course, what I had to do is help my client terminate that agreement, and we did and moved on. But my goodness, I talk about traps for the unwary, but you've got to be so careful as a buyer that you don't get fooled or get wrong information from the listing agent. And in that particular case, it was really bad because it was intentional on the listing agent's part, and grossly incompetent, of course, and unethical and other things too. So, I always tell my buyers one of the most important things they can do is make sure that they get the due diligence down on every single item that needs to be researched and checked. And anyway, I'm good at that. It's a little tedious, but I work through all those issues with my buyers.
You've clearly invested a lot of time and care into building your practice around education and advocacy. So for someone who's considering buying a home in Sequim, what do you wish every buyer knew before they start the process?
Oh boy. Okay, this is going to sound self-serving, but I strongly believe in what I'm going to share with you right now. The very first and most important thing any retiree can do, even before they get to Sequim, is to find an exclusive buyer's agent that is knowledgeable, competent, trustworthy, and loyal. Now, I know it sounds like I'm just trying to sell myself here, but and I hope you do hire me if you watch this video, but you can hire somebody else if you want to. The real point here is that I have heard story after story after story over the years of buyers who frankly hired an agent who wasn't competent or trustworthy. And I get calls on a regular basis throughout the year from buyers who worked with another agent and now they're royally screwed. And they're calling me and asking me what to do. Well, I have to tell them immediately, even though I was a real estate lawyer and understand how to analyze the issue and possible solutions, I have to tell them, I'm not practicing law. I'm a real estate broker, and you'd already had and have a buyer's agent who represented you. So I can't get in between you and your agent. If you want to talk to somebody else, you probably need to talk to a real estate attorney and get that figured out. But the buyers today, shocking thing is, many years ago, the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, did a nationwide survey, and they found out that buyers hire the first agent they talk to 85% of the time. No interview, no research, no questions. They just hire the first agent they talk to. 85 out of 100 buyers do that. Kind of shocking, isn't it? When you realize how important it is that you have a realtor who knows what the heck they're doing. So there are so many traps for the unwary. I could go on and on about that, but I won't.
You've built an impressive body of online content, blog articles, and videos and tools, all tailored for buyers. What kind of feedback do you get from clients about these resources, and how do you see that digital approach helping them make smarter, more confident decisions?
Yeah. So with a couple thousand articles on my blog and hundreds of videos on my real estate YouTube channel, and with many real estate books that are on Amazon and available to buyers today, I give buyers more information than they'll ever find anywhere else about the Sequim, living in Sequim, the Sequim real estate market, and answering all the specific questions that come up about buying a home here or building a home or buying vacant land and so on. So one of the things that people say to me a lot, even on the first phone call, many people will tell me, by the way, we've watched all your videos and just want to thank you so much for all that helpful information. And so many others say they've read a lot of my blog articles and they found them very helpful. So it's a wonderful thing to give people, especially retirees, a lot of free information that they can find on the internet without registering and without getting harassed by me, because guess what? I don't harass clients. I don't keep a CRM, a customer relationship management system, so I can collect people's emails and harass them until they buy a home. That's sales can be like that. So I'm very low pressure salesman. I keep a low profile. If retirees who are moving here, a couple, want to hire me as their buyer's agent, they've got to find me, and because I don't do any paid advertising, and they can find me all over the internet, but they've got to find me, and then it's their job to pursue me and decide whether or not I'm the buyer's agent they want to hire. I hope I will be for you, but if you find another buyer's agent you'd rather work with, great. You still can read all my articles and watch all my videos. It's all free. No registration required.
We're almost done. Let's talk about the client experience. When someone hires you as their exclusive buyer's agent, what should they expect from that relationship? Not just in terms of services, but in how you communicate, advocate, and guide them through the process.
Yeah. So I'm really a hands-on guy, and I don't hand my clients off to anybody. I don't hand them off to assistants or secretaries. They have my cell phone number. They could call me and text me. They can ask me any question in the months that they're looking at real estate here, and I will go out and do the research for them. I'll go preview homes with them. I'll do a FaceTime with them if they want to. So I help them gather information over a period of months and answer all their questions. And in that process, they're being well educated about living here and retiring here, and about the questions that come up with respect to the home and the area that they want to be in. And so typically it's a many months long education process, but I don't want my buyers to make any mistakes. I want them to be fully informed, well educated. They're going to make all the decisions for themselves. I'll guide them, give them support, resources, information. I do a lot of due diligence on properties for many clients, even before they decide to make an offer. So that's the process, and for some clients, it's a period that lasts for many, many months as they're transitioning from, let's say, Newport or Santa Barbara, somewhere or maybe in Texas, Dallas, or up in Denver or Boulder, or even from New York and Florida and Hawaii and Alaska, all over the country. And in fact, I've sold a couple of homes to people from Europe, Poland, and the Netherlands. So that's a process that takes months. It has for some clients, because it's taken longer because they're planning and working on retiring and selling elsewhere. I had some folks who called me up and said, we're retiring and planning to move to Sequim in 5 years. Will you still be there? And I said, yeah, if I'm still alive. So this is how I help buyers. And I don't charge any buyer's agency fee. There's no cost to them up front. I get paid by the seller as a result of the listing agreement that he signed with the listing agent.
Okay, last question, Chuck. Thanks for your time answering all these questions. Yeah. After all these years of helping people find their dream homes in Sequim, what still gets you excited about the work you do? What keeps it meaningful for you personally?
Well, I've always felt like you've got to have a reason to get up in the morning. You've got to have some sort of motivation. For me, practicing real estate law all those years and practicing as a real estate agent all these years and as an exclusive buyer's agent, the reason that I love real estate. I love looking at homes. I love the details, but I love helping retirees get through the transition of selling their home somewhere else and searching for and finding the ideal home up here, negotiating and working through the due diligence issues and getting all the way to closing. And frankly, my clients, by the time they get to closing, they're not just happy, they're giddy. So I know that I do a good job based on the incredibly positive comments and feedback and relationship I have with my clients. It's an open, it's an honest relationship. It's a transparent relationship. And that's just my personality. But I get some of the most incredible clients in the world, and they're a joy to work for. They really are. As I've said elsewhere, my clients tend to be retirees in their 50s and 60s and 70s, and they are mature mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. They're not chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow anymore. They've lived through good times and bad times. They've had times when their hearts were broken and times when they celebrated. And they're moving here because they plan to retire and settle down. They know how to ask questions. They know how to work with the answers I give them, and they make decisions. So wonderful people to work with. Those are the kind of people that find me on the internet, watch my videos, and read my articles, and then reach out to me one way or another. A lot of people now will go to my calendar on my website, irealtyvirtualbrokers.com, and I have a lot of information on there, including an MLS search that they can do, and there's a calendar on there where they can literally go to that calendar and sign up right there to schedule a telephone call with me, and then that appointment automatically shows up on my calendar. So it's a great process. I really enjoy working with people, and ultimately, I think the joy comes from the fact that I'm really helping people accomplish something really major in their lives. It's a huge transition, selling a home and moving from another area, buying a home here, getting settled in, and then getting new doctors, new grocery stores. Everything is, a new church. It's a huge transition. And I like to help my clients in that transition and help keep the stress and anxiety low. And hopefully by the time it all settles, the dust settles after closing, they're very happy. And frankly, most of the people who've lived here for a long time, I've heard many of them say the same thing I say. I don't ever plan to live anywhere else. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed these questions and answers. Been fun for me, and it just maybe allows you as a prospective client to get to know me a little better and decide whether or not you want to reach out to me and gather information as you make your retirement plans in the Sequim area. So many times clients can't find their home in Sequim. We have to go to Port Townsend or Port Ludlow or Port Hadlock or Port Angeles or the surrounding communities, but that's just fine. They're all close by. So in any event, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.